Hello everybody, my name is Brian Keenan. I'm here at my shop, the Brian Keenan Guitar Centre on the Lisburn Road in Belfast. That was Adelita by Francisco Tarrega. One of those pieces a lot of intermediate guitarists will play. I certainly did when I was a student. A piece that's popular with all sorts of guitar players, not just classical players, but any sort of fingerstyle guitarist will enjoy playing this. It's been immensely popular since it was written late 19th century, and rightfully so. It's a beautiful piece. Why not? This is probably going to go into two videos. This first one now will be on the first half in E minor, then I'll do a separate video for the second half in E major. Okay, so let's get stuck in. Your melody: E into D sharp, B. Okay, what I do is little finger on the 12th fret, I do a pull off to D sharp 11th fret with the third finger, and then I move down to the B, that's first string 7th fret. There's a little harmony filled out here with the rest of an E minor chord. That's 2nd fret of the 8th fret of the 2nd string and 9th fret of the 3rd string, which falls very neatly after this B note. Finger 1, finger 2, all falls very neatly. And there's an E struck with your thumb, of course, at the beginning of the bar. Your second bar. Stay where you are, don't move, okay? It's 10th fret on the first string, D. Pulled into 8th fret, C. Then F sharp on the 2nd string. Okay, that's your melody. Then again the harmony is filled out on beat 3 with this. It's a C natural, 10th fret of the 4th string, and an E natural, 9th fret of the 3rd. If I play that bar, you'll have, oops. And if I put it together, you'll have, okay, bar 3, the harmony moves to like a B major type harmony. If you bar across the 7th fret, you're going to need to bar all 6 strings. You're also going to need this 8th fret of the 3rd string with finger 2, and I'd probably begin the bar with that already on. But the melody is 8th fret of the 1st string, and I have to squeeze my 3rd finger in there, and I do a pull off into the 7th fret bar of the 1st string. And then that note I was talking about, the 8th fret of the 3rd string, that's your melody now. And on beat 3 again there's a chord, and it's, so the 2/3 of the notes are already on. You need to get this G natural note, 2nd string, 8th fret. Then you pluck strings 4, 3 and 2. That's going to result in frets 7, 8, 8. So that whole bar becomes, with of course a B in the bass at the beginning, 7th fret of the 6th string. That whole bar becomes, I'll tend to roll that chord, you don't have to, you could play. Okay, if I put the first 3 bars together, I'll have, okay, then bar 4. It's good fun. You just finished bar 3 in 7th position. Stay in 7th position, but you're letting go of the bar, but stay in that area of the guitar. Then on the 2nd string you're going to play, that's frets 7, 8, 7 with a little trill. 1, hammer on finger 2 and pull off back into 1. And then this E note, that's string 3 fret 9 with finger 3. That it's just a little grace note. Don't make too big a deal out of that. It's not like that. It's just, so keep it quite light, Incidentally, of course, there's an E filling out the harmony here. These notes all fall very neatly. It's been beautifully written for a sort of amateur student. You have the little ornament. then this E note on the 3rd string, 9th fret, open B, open 2nd string, open E, 1st string, then a G note, that's 2nd string, 8th fret, and then a B note, 1st string, 7th fret. You're outlining an E minor chord there. That's an E minor arpeggio, but played in a lovely cross string fashion, which sounds great. Sounds very resonant, sounds really good. I've seen other ways, of course, you know. People do that. Fine, I mean, whatever works. I personally think this way is best. Then we're back home again. Then there's a slight change there, which I'll talk about. You have bars 1 to 4. Bar 4 is... Then bar 5 is just the same as bar 1. Bar 6 is the same as bar 2. Bar 7 is the same as bar 3. But here we go to... Well, there are 2 options. I did both in my little performance earlier, just to show that both work. You can go to the G, B and E notes here. 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. Or you can do the simpler thing, which is open. There are pros and cons to both. This chord, the fact that that's played with all stopped notes means the tonal quality is the same on both chords. But there's no getting around the fact that the open strings are stronger, maybe, you know. So both work. In my little performance, I decided to do both. There's a lot of energy in that chord, and a release there. Okay, quite heavy with this, and then quite light with this, and finish with the open E string. Let's dive into a bit more detail of exactly what I'm doing with my fingers. You need a really strong pull-off throughout the piece, but at the very beginning, you know, so you can't just lift off. You have to snap the 4th finger into the 3rd finger. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of articles and a lot of videos out there about how to execute your slurs properly. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but make sure your fingers are quite curled. If you're going too flat with long fingers, you're going to have difficulty snapping off. And of course, if you're too rock and roll with the thumb, that's going to be very weak as well. So I have my thumb nice and low, below the halfway point of the neck, but quite a curl in my finger, which means I can get a good snap in my pull off there. Then move to the B. I use my ring finger to pluck the first melody note. Pull off. Then, you know, there's going to be 101 ways of doing this, but what I do is ring finger, you pull off, and then middle finger to pluck this note. Then when I do a rest stroke on that 1st string, it leans against the 2nd string. So what I do is I use that middle finger again to pluck that 2nd string, and I bring the index finger onto the 3rd string to pluck it. It all falls very neatly into place. But something I find a lot of people do wrong is they play this as if it's 1 man 2 3, 1 man 2 3. Your melody is 1 man 2, 1 man 2. That little dyad, that little 2-note chord you hear on the 3rd beat isn't part of the melody. So the melody isn't da 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 da. The melody is simply da da da. Make sure you bring that out. You know, a lot of people get that wrong. Same thing here. A good strong snap, finger 4 and the 2. Light on the chord. I should have pointed that out. You know, so it's quite strong with those melody notes, and then quite weak there, and same again, and quite weak here, and same again. Okay, it's a piece you can play quite expressively, but there's no need to use too much rubato. You know, in romantic music by Tarrega, you can't afford to use quite a lot of rubato. But in this, it's just a simple rhythm and a simple melody, really, that I wouldn't want to mess around with it too much. Maybe here. That's going to work well. You know, I held this chord, then I compensated by slightly faster through that little run. So, you know, there's loads of room for you to put your own stamp, but that's the way I do it, okay? Remember, that chord has a lot of energy that I will release. And then that open E. Okay, so that was the first half. You saw the little performance at the start. I think I've broken it apart quite a lot for you there, and I'm working on the presumption that you have the score in front of you and you've been working on this piece for quite a while. I'm not presuming that you're just starting from scratch with this tune. Okay, so keep an eye on the score and bear in mind the things I've shown you, and hopefully that'll improve your performance. I'm now going to do a second little video on the second half in E major, so I'll see you then.